Hi and welcome back to my channel Rita Stories. I'm Rita. So if you're like me and pregnant with your first child, you might be feeling a little anxious, a little nervous about the big day, being the day that you give birth or the day that you go into labour. And so I've been trying to do as much research as possible, finding out about hypnobirthing, different medication, medicated birth, unmedicated birth, pool births or water births, but also TENS machine. So today I want to talk about the TENS machine that we ended up getting, which is the Elle TENS machine. So this is the first generation one. I think there is a newer version of this which does pretty much exactly the same, but it does include a contraction timer. We purposely didn't go for that one because I've downloaded a contraction timer on my phone and I'll probably just end up using my phone app versus using this. Also, I didn't want to have too many different functions on this and confuse me because I can imagine that when I do go into labour, I just want to keep things simple and just have it quite straightforward. So we have had a play around with this. As you can see, I've kind of set this all up, but I wanted to show you what we got in the box. So with our TENS machine, we got obviously the unit itself. It looks like this. And it comes with 2 wires, as you can see. And at the end of the 2 wires, each wire splits into 2 connections. With these 2 connections, you then plug in to your sticky pad. I don't know what these are called officially, but your sticky pads. You've got one and then got another one. So essentially what a TENS machine does is that it sends electrical pulses through the wire, through the sticky pads and onto your skin wherever you've stuck the sticky pads onto. Usually, if you're using this for labour, it will probably be your lower back, and it's supposed to not completely numb the pain, but it's supposed to kind of dial down or dull down the pain of the initial more mild contractions. So this TENS machine is generally something that a lot of people tend to use this machine in the earlier stages of labour before they go into established labour, and as mentioned, it's just to help with the contractions or the surges that you might be experiencing. So with this little machine, you can see that there is an on-off button here. There is a channel 1 and a channel 2, and the channel 1 on the left hand side and the channel 2 on the right hand side control the 2 different cables and therefore the 2 different sets of sticky pads. So for example, you could have your left side having stronger electrical settings versus your right side, or depending on how you have these set up as well, you can have these stuck onto your lower back vertically or horizontally. So it could be left and right or top and bottom. And so it depends on how you'd like to have that kind of set up on your body. In terms of the pulses, there are 5 different settings. The lowest setting is 50 electrical currents. I don't know what the measurement is, but then it goes up in increments of 50. So the lowest setting is at 50, then 100, 150, 200, and then 250. So the maximum, the highest level you can increase it to is 250, and the lowest setting you can have it is 50. There are also 2 modes on this machine. So you have the burst mode where it just kind of goes in a burst mode, as you'd expect. But if you use this button on the side, it goes into boost mode, and that is when it sends like an extra oomph of electrical currents into the sticky pads and therefore into your back, where you've stuck this onto. The boost mode is probably what you would use when you're kind of ramping into those contractions, whereas the burst mode is something which is more maintainable and like you have it as a constant kind of setting. For me, we have tried and tested this at home, not on me, myself, but we tried and tested it on my partner, which I had a lot of fun doing. The reason being that we couldn't test this on me is that they advise not to test it on pregnant women, just in case. I mean, to be honest, I don't think it would bring about labour or anything, but they advise not to do it. So we just followed the guidelines and we tested it out on my partner instead. And at first he was saying that it felt quite comfortable. We placed these sticky pads on his lower back in a similar location to where I would place it on my back when I go into labour. But for him, he said initially it felt quite comfortable, felt like a light pins and needles sensation on his lower back, but that was at a lower setting of about 100, or about from 50, which is the lower setting, 100 and maybe 150. Then when I increased it to 200 and 250, he definitely felt stronger sensations. He definitely felt the tingle, the pins and needles, and he was not enjoying it at all. He kept on yelling at me to turn it down, so I don't think it was as comfortable or as soothing as the lower settings, but it's good because it shows that it worked. He felt the differences between the different settings and the different levels, so that was really good. We definitely wanted to test this out just in case there was any issues with it. We wanted to kind of sort that out before I go into labour. I didn't want to take this out of the box for the very first time as I'm going into labour, and I had to like read through all the manuals, so that would be something I would suggest. If you are planning on getting a TENS machine, make sure you kind of understand all the settings and how it all works, what have you, have new batteries ready, because you don't want to have the machine and then it runs on 2 AA batteries, this machine anyway, and so you don't want to be then without any batteries in the house, or like batteries which are running low, and then not be able to use this on your big day, on the day that you go into labour. So for me, we got this TENS machine because we thought that it would help the earlier stages of labour, as previously mentioned. It's something that you can use at home, it's not medicated in any way, so I can just kind of start using this as and when I feel like I need it. But the downfalls of this is that if you are trying to have a water birth, or you're getting in and out of the bathtub just to kind of ease pain or whatever, then you can't be having this attached to you whilst you're in the water. As mentioned, these are electrical pulses that get sent from the machine into the sticky pads. There's like wires and everything, so you cannot be getting wet with these. So that would be a downfall. You can't use this in conjunction with any water birth, what have you, but it's still, I think, hopefully it will still be worth having, just to take away a little bit of the pain, take away the edge off for those initial mild and middle ground contractions whilst you're at home. So as mentioned, because I'm still pregnant, I've not been able to test this myself. I've only been able to test it on Peter, but what I'll do is I will do a follow-up video telling you and reviewing this product and how I found it and whether it helped me on the day or not. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I I hope you found this video helpful. As mentioned, this is the Elle TENS machine. I think this is the first edition. And in the box, it comes with the unit, a lanyard so you can put around your neck, so you don't have to be holding it all the time. It comes with 2 electrical cables, electrical wires probably, and 4 sticky pads. Also to note, you can actually get replacement pads, so if you have been testing these out at home or your partner's been using them, what have you, and you need some more, then you can order these or similar ones to these off Amazon, so that's a good shout as well. Or if you want to buy one and you're thinking maybe later down the line you'll have a second child, you can just buy replacement sticky pads and you wouldn't need to buy the whole unit again. So yeah, that is my unboxing of the Elle TENS machine. As mentioned, make sure you stay tuned for my follow-up video of when I finally get around to using it, and I'll share my experience using this. I hope you found this video helpful. Make sure you give me a thumbs up, like my video, it really helps out my channel, and subscribe, tick that notification bell if you want to get notified of when I'm releasing new content. Until the next video, see you guys later. Bye!